Hello friends, welcome back to another Value Vintage Cards video. So I wanted to share, it's actually 5 total recent pickups. There's 4 obviously showing, so I have another one that's not currently on camera. But yeah, the topic came up recently. Dan and Greg were discussing. So the idea of, are you a kind of broad, wide range collector, or are you more narrow focused in what you're picking up? So some of my friends are, player collectors. Some of my friends are team collectors. I would think that would fall into the pretty narrow. There's channels named after like sets. So you've got some folks that are very, very focused in at least their primary objective. Mine, Value Vintage, and I actually show one on screen that stretches outside of most people's definition of vintage. But yeah, I'm definitely a very broad focus. And when I got this last, several purchases in the mail, I'm like, this is about as classic wide range as you could possibly get. And this shows exactly how I collect. The weird thing is, when you look at this, like, I literally don't have a Topps, Bowman, Fleer. Like, there's just nothing like that I'm picking up on a regular basis anymore. So these 4, and the 5th is right along with that theme. So I just wanted to share these and give an idea of how hard to define my interests would be, but they check boxes for me. So I'll start with the newest one. Sorry for the big arm reach there. But this thing is kind of neat. They label it as a trading card, which is not really specific at all. And obviously it's autographed and it's authentic auto, which is really what drew me in and made me want to get this. But if you do look at the back, it does tell you what it is. So it's an O-Pee-Chee. It's a rookie. It's a 1983 Wade Boggs O-Pee-Chee. So for me, that fits my collection perfectly because I love my childhood era rookies, but the Topps, Bowman, Fleer run that most of us probably have, that is checked off the list, and so that's already complete. I'm looking for things that are a little more fun, exotic. He does not have an O-Pee-Chee Topps. So I've got the Gwynn, I've got the Sandberg. I'm like, what do I do for Boggs to make it cool? And those are, dollars. Those are not big money at all. So I thought, well, if I can find it autographed, that's, one level cooler. I wish it was labeled as such, but it's clearly that's not going to be a fake. That's no one's making fake 83 O-Pee-Chee stickers of Wade Boggs when they're selling for singles of dollars. So thought that was a cool addition, and helps to make that early 80s high-end rookie, Hall of Fame rookie kind of cards a little more diverse and fun. So that's my rationale there. This one, 1962. I don't mind a good stamp, and that image is cool. And this thing, it's graded a 5, which, you're grading a stamp. I'm not a stamp collector, I'm a baseball collector. So for me, having the chance to pick that up, if you look at it pretty close, it's in good shape. There's nothing wrong with that at all. The back of it even is clean. It's not got like a letter stuck to it or anything. So Nellie Fox collector, obviously, and one I didn't have, so I said, let's snag that. Crazy thing is, that is a pickup for less than the cost of having a card graded. So win, right? I will go over to Mr. Fox. Just like I said, Hank Aaron probably should be added to my inner circle of people I collect. Jimmy Fox has kind of been in that just barely next tier. I have a fairly respectable and emphasized collection of Fox things. So within that era, it feels like, Hornsby, Dickey, lesser so probably Mellott, but Lefty Grove for sure, and then Jimmy Fox. are the guys that I collect pretty hard. So I thought picking that up, and this was a neat one. Actually, it's somebody I know on eBay, but I also have made purchase from off. So we actually connected and made this via text. So I had a question the other day, they're blank backs, so you can see a little bit of the creasing. Sometimes these are popped out, and that's what makes them a lower grade, but still presents well. It's got, some bends and whatever, and that's kind of what the card is. But for the most part, that's solid. I will never be upset at one of these pop-ups in a lower grade, because they usually still have cool image and everything about it, as long as it's not super creased up. That one really isn't. That's strong. So that one checks the box. I did not have the Fox, so I wanted to get that to kind of beef up my both Jimmy Fox collection, and also the batter ups from that era I think are neat. So I've got a decent little collection of folks. So adding Jimmy made a lot of sense for my collection. Next, we'll go with literally one of my favorite cards. And it's not enormous dollars. I think 3 of these just went in auction for 7 something at, I forget where it was, Golden or REA or Heritage or something, but this one was, I don't know, roughly half of what that one went for, and it's half the grade, which for me is perfect, because there's really not, I don't really see a whole lot wrong with that. I think that's a pretty nice image. I shared a picture of that. It's really one of my favorite cards in existence. I just think that image, what it is, it's Tris Speaker playing overseas. So, there's like 40 of them graded between PSA and SGC. So, for my definitions, that's, rare, scarce, whatever you want to use the word, but that's a tough to come by. I always say there's less than 100, I consider it a tough card. And when there's less than 1 per state, that means theoretically I'm the only one in the state that owns this. So if there's 40 in circulation that have been graded, now there's 39 because I'm taking that one out. That will stay with me. But I love that image. He's actually in a White Sox uniform playing overseas, on a international tour. So super neat. The image itself is just so cool for being a 1915 issue. So absolutely love that. And the last one was a player that I had to check off my Hall of Fame list. So as hard as it is to get some of those 1800s players checked off the list, there's still a few from the probably not vintage, not the standard like 50s, 60s era. I think I've got all those guys, but when you get into pre-war, there's probably still a few that are eluding me, and this was one. So I had to pick this up, and I thought, rather than doing a standard like 33 Gaudy, let me get something that's a little more unique and neat and super cool. So let me see if I can share the slab first. So a 1930 W554 Herb Pennock. How fun is that? So in my world, that checks a lot of boxes. Cool set, tough item, low population, player I didn't have. But if that was a common player, I would think like, that's cool looking. I absolutely enjoy that a lot. So I will take a Herb added to the collection. These, if you're not familiar, I only have 2 in my collection currently from this set, but they are blank backs. So I've got the Lefty Grove, which was a great addition, and now Herb Pennock. So just collecting left-handed Hall of Fame pitchers from that set apparently. But I thought that was a cool way to pick him up for my run. I'm not saying I need a standard size slab card, whatever, as long as I have one of a playing days card of the player for my one of every MLB Hall of Fame collection, I am very happy. So I may add another 1 or 2. He's got some really cool looking cards. great images, neat sets, things like that. So if I can check a couple boxes, I'll try. But I thought that was a fun pickup. And most of these weren't crazy. So it's all over the darn map, right? I've got 80s, I've got 60s, I've got two from the 30s, and I got one from 1915. So the only real common theme is they're all Hall of Famers. A couple of them are players I collect really hard, and some are from new sets that I haven't had, and some are checking off boxes. So I would say that's a pretty gosh darn broad focus. So please share. I always like learning. I know people watch different folks in the community, so if you haven't seen that, it's Dan's Vintage PC. He had Greg from Midlife on, and they kind of chatted up about are you a narrow, more focused collector, or are you more of a broad, wide open kind of collection mentality? So I would say I'm definitely the latter. But where do you fall? And if you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. I'll try and share a link to that so you guys can find that and watch that if you haven't come across it for some reason. But I'm sure with the size of their audience, you most likely, if you're seeing me, you're probably seeing them both as well. But I wanted to share kind of my thoughts, perspective, and also ask you all, where do you fall? If you haven't shared, if you're a content creator, I would say make a video, address the question. And if you're not, please share in the comments. I always love learning about folks. I'm excited to meet some of y'all at, the National or Strongsville, or just, continue to learn from each other and grow together. So have a good one. I will catch up with y'all on the next video. Take care.